Moving on now, as petrol continues to sell at various prices above the official pump price of 165 naira per litre, the Minister for Petroleum Resources, Temipre Silva, says the government has not deregulated the price of petrol. While speaking at a stakeholders consultative forum on midstream and downstream petroleum regulations, Silva is reassuring Nigerians that fuel queues will soon be a thing of the past.
If there are increases in the price, it is not from the government. It's probably from the marketers. But of course, I will talk to the authority chief executive to ensure that they actually regulate the prices. But this is not from the government. We have not deregulated.
You read the Rights Act and no action has been taken. It's boldly being done. Even the monitoring exercises are no longer happening. What's going on? Well,
I don't know about monitoring exercises, but I know that the authority is fully on their job, and the queues will be dissipated very, very soon.
Well, for more on this and other challenges in the oil sector, we are joined by an economist, Akin Ogunsola. Thank you so much for joining us on the news tonight.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
What do you make of this situation when you hear the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Temipre Silva, say, this is not the government, this is marketers? We've heard so many excuses. If I had $1 for every time I heard, fuel queue would be a thing of the past.
You'll be a millionaire.
I'll be a millionaire by
in dollars.
In dollars. I mean, what do you make of the situation?
Thank you for having me tonight. I think the issue of the fuel price is an economic situation, and the minister is actually just trying to just play safe. Because you see, this petroleum product we're talking about is actually imported in dollars. And we know what is happening to the exchange rate between the naira and the dollar now, which is getting to about 700 or so. And if we are still going to be buying petroleum products in naira, and government say they are subsidizing it, it means subsidy keeps increasing as the exchange rate keeps going higher. And I think it has gotten to a point that government can no longer increase the subsidy again, because they have increased at multiple times, and it has been approved by the National Assembly. And so therefore, I think it's the forces of the demand and supply that is determining the price of the petroleum products. So
what other factors could be playing out? I mean, with the last time I went to buy petrol, it was about 175 at the pumps, clearly boldly written there. And we're hearing from government that it has not deregulated pump price of petrol. Are the marketers just flying a kite with what is going on? And is it indicative of the fact that, look, Nigerians, we really are ready to let go of subsidy as long as we can go to the filling stations and get the fuel?
I can tell you for free that this petroleum product is still subsidized. But the reason for the increase in price is because government has gotten to the limit at which they can increase the budget for subsidy. And that's why the difference of a 10 naira in the petroleum pump price. Yeah, and for now, government cannot actually say they are enforcing any 165 price, because government cannot cope with the difference. So now government is technically answering off and letting the forces of the market to determine the price. Okay,
so what does this say about regulation and accountability? Who is accountable to the Nigerian people? If I'm buying petrol at 179 pump price, boldly written on the Leon signs, and government says it's still 165, and we are paying a whooping sum, going close to 6.7 trillion naira in 2023 for subsidy. So the government is paying for subsidy, it's been subsidized, but at the pump, we are still paying exorbitant.
I can tell you that the landing cost for the petroleum product in Nigeria is far, far above this 175 that you are buying this petroleum price. If government is not paying subsidy, probably will be buying the fuel at about maybe 300 naira per litre. But government is still subsidizing, and also the rate to get the dollar to actually purchase this petroleum product is actually going high, and government cannot cope with an increase in the budget for subsidy, because they have increased that twice and it has been approved by National Assembly.
Is it time to take out subsidy?
Yeah.
Is it time to take out full subsidy?
The federal government planned to take out subsidy in February this year.
Then they postponed by 18 months.
But they actually did a U-turn and postponed by 18 months.
Right.
just because of the political reasons. And that's why they've done that. And technically, just like I said, government is handsing off from controlling the price of fuel.
Okay, and leaving it. So there's no kind of price control mechanism that can actually be imposed on the marketers. Is that what you're saying? And what's your, I'd like you to respond to that, please. And your take on the calls for full deregulation of the downstream sector. Where do you stand on that?
Yes, it is high time. All economists, everybody is ready for deregulation to actually take place, but we are looking at the timing because we are going into election in 2023, and the government of the day is saying the timing is actually not too good, and that's why they've decided to push it to the next government that will be coming up. Nigeria is long overdue to be deregulated, but the question is the government ready to actually deregulate? Because it's going to affect so much. We are actually in a period of high inflation. We are in a period whereby the central bank is tightening the economy, increasing the interest rate. So the citizens cannot afford another hike in petroleum price, and government is just technically paying some subsidy to see that they actually allay the fears of the citizens.
So any kind of price control from the part of government, is that possible at all?
There is still a price control.
Now?
There is a price control on the fuel price.
Who's
now
controlling? Because, I mean...
How is it being controlled?
How is it being controlled, exactly?
The PPPRA is actually regulating. They are the agency in charge of that. But because of
which is now the NMDRA.
Yes, which is now the NMDRA now, because of the privatization of the NNPC. They are still working on that. They are still actually regulating the petroleum price.
So when government now tells us that they're not even aware that we're buying petrol at 175 naira, 179 in some cases.
Don't worry. I can assure you that government is aware. Government is actually aware. Is government
allowing the marketers steal from us? Is that what it is?
No, government is aware. I wouldn't want you to throw much emphasis on what the minister said. Government is aware of what the petroleum pump price is now.
All right, but it seems to an average Nigerian hearing this that the government seems to be turning a blind eye to it. Let's talk about other issues. I mean, but we do know that our economy largely depends on oil, and we do not produce so much. We import all of this. We have a revenue problem. We also have a debt challenge. So how do we raise the revenue profile of our country beyond oil, beyond taxation? Because you just said, it's a very delicate issue to tax the people more who are already taxed. So beyond oil, tax, and recovered loot, how do you raise our revenue?
Oh, thank you very much. I think one thing that is happening now in the country is that corruption is actually on the high increase. It's not as if Nigeria is broke. Everybody says Nigeria is broke. But I can tell you that Nigeria is still rich. Nigeria has the potentials of paying back the debt within a very short time. But it's just for us to maximize our potential in generating more revenue. Now, we can generate more revenue from the solid minerals we've got. We have gold, we have other solid minerals in the country that nobody's accounting for them. We have illegal miners everywhere. We have oil bunkers everywhere. That's part of the corruption I'm talking about. People are siphoning government properties, government assets, and that's just what is making the government to be broke. But government seems to be turning deaf ears and blind eyes towards all those sides, and that's why they are reporting low revenue.
Akin Ogunsola, I wish we had enough time to talk about how we can actually really, truly diversify the economy, but not enough. Economists, thank you so much for joining us. Akin Ogunsola.